Okay, hopefully you can hear me and see me. 1 second. Good afternoon, guys. How are you all doing? Or good morning or good evening, depending on where you're at right now and when you're watching this. Like I said, we had some technical issues, so you're definitely watching this after it happened, but please feel free to comment, ask any questions, interact with the video in any way you want to. This interview is really just a way of service, so I hope it's beneficial for you. Kelsey will probably be hopping on here in a minute. But I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what today was going to be about. Kelsey is a plant-based coach. So she's going to talk about plant-based eating and plant-based lifestyle. And she had a little write-up that I'm going to read. Okay, so Kelsey is a plant-based wellness coach helping people thrive and live happy, healthy. Gosh, is that tough to say? Live happy and healthy lives they love. She is the founder of drivenbyplants.com, which is an absolutely gorgeous website. She has so many amazing resources and recipes on there. You definitely need to check it out. drivenbyplants.com. And she has the Driven by Plants podcast, which is also awesome. I highly recommend listening to her podcast, which is an online resource to help people transition to the plant-based lifestyle with ease and joy. How awesome is that? She also teaches on mindfulness and helps others to build their confidence through the power of gratitude and positivity when she's not sharing her dance moves. And her dance moves are epic. If you follow her over on Instagram, you will see a lot of dancing, and it is awesome and inspiring and just makes you smile. So when she's not dancing, though, she's sharing simple recipes on her Instagram stories. She's most likely, if she's not doing that, she's most likely out on a hike or climbing with her friends. And she also shares some of the most beautiful scenic photos of her hikes and everywhere that she goes when she's in the mountains. And it's just really, really, she's just all around, just has like a really, really cool account. It's really inspiring. She shares a lot of resources that are very helpful when it comes to gratitude and just overall wellness and being positive and just hanging in there. And personally, like just watching her stories alone has been extremely helpful, especially during this time. She's just very uplifting and positive and motivating. So it's really, really good on like a hard day to just scroll through some of her posts or go watch her stories. She's like really, really awesome. That's about it, but it looks like, so her website is drivenbyplants.com. Again, it's a beautiful website. It's just so easy to get around. All of her food pictures are like insanely beautiful. So it just already inspires you to want to make the food. The podcast, Driven by Plants. And I'm pretty sure her Instagram handle is Driven by Plants too. But anyways, and we had a couple questions come in that we're going to ask Kelsey once she gets here in about 1 minute. And again, if any of you have any questions now that you want to drop in the comments, I'm sure she'll see them later, or I'll direct her to them so that way you can get those answered. Anything about plant-based lifestyle or plant-based eating, she is definitely an expert and a go-to person. So I have some questions I'm going to ask her that came in, and just some questions about some stuff that I am curious about. Let's see. Okay. Any minute now. I'm just waiting for her, but hopefully you guys are having a really good day. It's really beautiful, warm here, and about the 80s. Just went for a walk. It's breezy too, so it hasn't been that kind of like crazy heat that we usually get in the South. Hasn't quite settled in yet, but we know that shift is coming any day now. It's going to be like 100 degrees outside, and the airs usually get so like thick and saturated you can't even breathe. But hopefully we have a few more nice days before that happens. But okay, it's 3:00. Let's see if she's gonna pop on soon. And thank you guys for being here. I just want to take a minute. Thank you all for being in the group. Thank you for taking the time to read the posts and be here. And hopefully you're finding it beneficial, whether in just the support of the community or it's cheering you up, making you feel uplifted. Hopefully you're having fun with some of the Star Wars posts and the giveaway. Hopefully you're excited about that too. And all of that information is in the announcements. So if you want to pop over to the announcements in the group, then you can read more about that. Oops, I think I just turned my volume off. Okay. All right, it looks like Kelsey is here. Let's welcome Kelsey.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. It's so good to see you and talk to you like in real life.
Yeah, you too. I love this.
See me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I just introduced you and kind of chatted about you and your awesome website, your awesome podcast. Just everything is just awesome about you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today and taking this time out just to talk with me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for hosting it. I'm really excited to be a part of it.
So, and we're about to talk about some awesome plant-based stuff because I know you are the go-to person. But and also Kelsey and I had talked about how appropriate it was that it fell on a Monday because now like Meatless Monday is like a really popular thing now. So we thought that was really awesome. And I actually had a question come in. I actually had 3 questions come in for you. One of them was about like your favorite go-to plant-based meal that's just like when it's just for you and you just want something like comforting. Like what is your go-to meal?
I make a really good mac and cheese with just like boiled vegetables, which sounds kind of weird, but it actually tastes really good when you like blend them all together and add spices. So that's my favorite like comfort dish.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
It's really good.
Really good. Okay, let me see. Okay, so Kelsey and I know each other. Well, we don't know each other in real life. We're Facebook friends, but I think it was like a stream of mutual friends. Somehow we got connected and I was just like, wow, this girl is really cool. And I was talking about like just how uplifting and positive your stories and posts always were, and how like so many hard days I would just be like watching stories and I would come to yours and I'd be like, oh, okay, I feel better now. Like I can do this now. I can go through the rest of the day. So I was talking a little bit about that. And so that I just thought it was like really cool how we got connected. And it was just like we don't even know each other in person, but just have kind of been interacting, I think, for a few years now almost.
Yeah, it has been.
Online. Yeah, like I was like, I know it's been like 2 years at least.
Yeah.
But, so, and since our group is Star Wars themed, so I wanted to know if you had any kind of connection to Star Wars, if any.
I've seen the movies. I've never really like gotten into it. I had a boyfriend once that was really into it, and so he kind of like got me into it and like watching all the movies. But I haven't watched them in a really long time actually.
Yeah.
But I did get into it because I really love like I feel like it's just such a great story and example of like good winning over evil. Like I love that about it.
Definitely. Like, and it's like a recurring theme. And it's so easy to just like translate into real life, like the whole Force thing. You're like, no, like that is real.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally real. But okay, so now we'll get into the real stuff. So I always like to ask people what they had for breakfast this morning because I just love to know.
Yeah, I had a smoothie, and I also had chocolate strawberry oatmeal.
Oh my gosh, yum. That sounds amazing. That's amazing. What do you usually put in your smoothie?
Usually just like some whatever frozen fruit I have on hand. I use like unsweetened vanilla almond milk as the base, and usually like a banana or frozen banana, and then my favorite protein powder.
What is your favorite protein powder?
It's called Shakeology.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Any
Yeah, it's my
particular
favorite.
flavor or just like plain?
I really love the chocolate. Right now, I'm really loving the cafe latte.
Oh, that sounds really good. Okay, now I'm hungry. Um, but yeah, I think I had oatmeal. This day has been so long. I had oatmeal this morning, but it wasn't nearly as delicious sounding as what you made. Super plain with bananas, but I will like try to put some cinnamon in there to like jazz it up a little bit, make it a little exciting.
Yeah, it's so versatile. I love oatmeal.
Yeah, and like so we're trying to stretch out our grocery trips at home. So you're kind of just working with what you have. So you're like, oh well, I guess I'll just throw some of this in there and hope that it works out. So it's been
Yeah,
like that
totally.
kind of deal here. But so I'd love to hear about how you started this whole entire like plant-based journey, how you first came to learning about like plant-based eating and lifestyle, and how you ended up being like a plant-based coach.
Yeah, so I went vegan in the summer of 2014.
Oh,
So
wow.
about 6 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy it's been that long. But my friend, my really good friend at the time, sent me a video because he was trying the diet, and he sent me a video on animal agriculture, and I literally just couldn't watch like more than 2 minutes of it. I was like, I've always loved animals, and so it like really pulled at my heartstrings, and I was like, okay, like I need to not contribute to this anymore. Like that
Yeah.
really shows me. Like if I can't even watch this video, like I shouldn't contribute to
Right.
it. And so I kind of just made the switch overnight. It was also like right before I moved to Colorado, so it was like a perfect time. Like I didn't have like a fridge to clear out or anything, so
Yeah.
it worked out perfectly. Um, and then yeah, when I like moved to Boulder is where I moved to in Colorado, and I like didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of like a junk food vegan. I just was eating like like meat, like plant-based meat alternatives and lots of vegan cheese, and just like eating out at restaurants a lot, like vegan restaurants. And yeah, I wasn't healthy with it. So then I really just tried to like absorb as much information I could about how like beneficial the diet was. And I like read this book called How Not to Die by Michael Greger. And it basically just goes over like the top 15 leading causes of death in America, and how they're all caused by lifestyle and like diet. And
Yeah.
that really just like transformed my whole like viewpoint and perspective on it. I was like, wow, this really is more about just like doing it for the animals and like doing it to save the animals. Like my health is really a big part of this too. Like, and so I really just started to experiment with recipes. I was gifted a cookbook that I like just started to make recipes from and really just learn how to cook. I didn't know how to cook, so that was like a really fun journey for me. And yeah, I just really like dove in and just like researched all I could on how to make this lifestyle work and how to make it healthy, and yeah, just really fuel my body properly with plants, and like not rely heavily on the alternatives like I was doing. And yeah, it's really just kind of evolved from there. I got into coaching about 2.5 years ago. I'd kind of been looking into it, like wanting to go to school for it, and I just didn't know where to go or what to do. And someone actually reached out to me on Instagram, which is why I love social media so much. It's so
Yes.
cool for things like this, and just connecting with awesome people and learning about things that I otherwise wouldn't have. So yeah, she reached out to me about coaching and was like, you'd be awesome at this. And so I like jumped into the opportunity. I started out with like health and fitness, more like fitness focused. And it's trying to, sorry, I don't can't talk sometimes. It's kind of just transitioned from there into being more like plant-based. I've since going vegan, I've just realized I've been so passionate about sharing this and just providing the information for people, because I know for me it was just very overwhelming. Like I didn't know where to start, and I wasn't healthy with it at first, and that really like kind of held me back, because like if you're not healthy, it really affects your energy and like how you show up in the world. So once I started to learn like how to fuel my body properly and eat plants and foods that were good for me, it really helped my energy levels. And so yeah, I was just kind of like I want to help other people with this too. And that's how it all started. And now I've moved into like kind of out of the fitness realm and more into helping people with transition to a plant-based vegan diet and make it fun and easy and joyful.
Yeah, that's so awesome. What an amazing story. And the fact that you already had the foundation of already that lifestyle before you went into coaching. Do you feel
Yeah.
like that made it easier?
Yeah, it definitely did, because I was trying to do the math. I think I was like 3 years into the lifestyle at that point when I started coaching. And so I'd really learned like, you know, what worked for me and what didn't. And like through my own trial and error.
Yeah. Sometimes you have like that's the best way to find things out, to learn things.
Yeah,
And so you were
totally.
talking about like a junk food vegan, and I feel like, and tell me if you feel the same. A lot of times when you hear from people vegan or plant-based diets are too expensive, it might be because they are focusing a lot on those pre-made, processed, packaged items. So,
Yeah,
which definitely add up. Because
totally.
if you're picking all the alternative meats and alternative snacks, and some of them just really aren't that healthy, like at
No,
all.
yeah,
Like they're not really composed of natural things at all.
right.
But that's so awesome. So in what ways do you feel like a plant-based diet could help someone else that's just coming from just a regular American diet? Like what kind of ways do you think it would help them?
Oh, wow. There's so many.
Maybe pick top three.
Okay, yeah. I'd say first and foremost, like getting more fiber in your diet is so important. And I think it's like a big thing that people just don't even know about or like know to focus on. And you know, animal products don't have fiber. Like plants are the only foods that have fiber, and it really just helps your body to process things better. It helps your body to absorb nutrients better. It helps your digestion.
Definitely.
It helps everything. So that's like number one, is just getting more fiber into your diet. Um, and I'd say also eating more plants helps with your like getting more nutrients into your diet and feeling better, like energetically. And like I know for me, like looking back, I had before I went vegan, I didn't even know this was stuff that I could like change with diet, but I had asthma. I had really bad acid reflux, and it wasn't like the heartburn kind. It was like the kind that was like phlegm in my throat. So I was like constantly clearing my throat and like coughing, and like I was miserable. Like I hated it. I always felt so bad that I was like constantly coughing, like clearing my throat, especially when I was in college, because I was like in class, like the loud one, like trying to clear my, you know, it was like, it
Aw.
wasn't fun. So like all that cleared up and I went vegan, and it was like, whoa, I had no idea, you know, that we can really change our whole lives and like our health with food.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's like a whole emotional aspect that, again, a lot of people just aren't aware. They don't even really think about it until you're shown certain things or have to read about it, or you're like seeing the experiences. There's like a whole different um, emotional thing that happens too in connection with the food, and
Yeah,
maybe even like in your daily life, like just you don't really think about what you're eating, but
right.
once you know, there's just like that part of you that just doesn't feel right about it. And but I think the struggle is a lot of people don't know how to shift out of that. They're like, I don't know, this is the way I've eaten my whole life. How
Right.
do I stop eating this? So when you were making your transition, was it like you said, it was kind of overnight, but were you like eliminating certain things slowly, or were you just like cold turkey stop?
Yeah, I basically was just like cold turkey stop. Like my parents road tripped with me out here to move all my stuff out to Colorado, because I was in North Carolina at the time. And I just like made sure I like was Googling like places that I could eat like that, you know, easily as a vegan, and like places like Subway and Taco Bell, which I like had no idea that you could just ask for stuff without the cheese or ask for it
Exactly.
without the meat. Like I was like, whoa, they like blew my mind. I was like, this is how easy it could be? Like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just it's crazy like how easy it is, but sometimes when you're just used to eating a certain way to try to implement something new or just leave off the cheese. It sounds like, what? How do I do that? You know, it's kind of intimidating at first. And I think that's why a lot of people just maybe shy away from it, because there's certain recipes that they just don't even know how they could change them. So are there some like really well-known recipes that like everybody kind of eats that you could suggest or talk about that would be like an easy transition food for someone who's like coming from just a regular diet, they have meat in their diet all the time? Just what are some easy meals that they could just try to start the shift with?
Yeah, I'd say stir fries. You can just load so much veggies and stir fries. And, you know, my philosophy is like not all or nothing. Like I'm not about vegan as like perfectionist, like 100% thing. Like I feel like it's different for everyone. Like you said, like everyone has a different situation and background and like, you know, habits that they have with food. And, you know, even though they may be becoming more aware of the food that you're eating and how it's affecting you and everyone else, like it still is kind of hard to bridge that gap, so to speak. So I think, yeah, stir fries is just a really easy way to just add so much veggies to it, you know, like broccoli, bell peppers, carrots, bok choy is a great green that you can add, or just even spinach, like, and burrito bowls. I love burrito bowls, like Chipotle bowls. You can just make it home, like rice and beans, and add vegetables. And I love to add greens to every meal. I love to like massage kale with liquid aminos, which is kind of like soy sauce. You can also just use soy sauce. Like I just love soy sauce and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like massage kale with liquid aminos. And what's that?
It has a very distinct flavor that's just like easy to like love.
Yeah, and everyone has that in their fridge, so it's like really easy to just add to everything. And yeah, that's my biggest tip, I'd say, is just to add more vegetables. Like you don't have to remove anything. You don't have to change like everything about how you're eating or any of your habits. You really just add more vegetables in, like whatever way you can or want to do. And that's easiest for you, and it's just going to get more easier over time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like you just said, like that's another added stress is people feeling that pressure, like they're not doing it good enough. Like you're not a good enough vegetarian, or you're not a good enough vegan, like you're not. And so people are like, well, why even try if I can't just slowly get into it? Because a lot of people have like family issues, or not everybody in the house eats the same. You hear a lot of that in like your coaching, where people feel kind of like alone or stressed about that?
Yeah, actually I do get that question quite a lot from clients and just people that follow me on Instagram. Like the other day I actually had someone reach out to me because she's a mom and she has 2 kids that I think are young teenagers around that age, and a husband, and they don't eat, like they're not interested in eating that way. And she's like, it's kind of been hard for me, but you know, I've just been learning that like I can cook my meals and he can add, or they can add whatever they want to it. Like they can cook meat separately and add it, or like whatever, like to make it work for them. I don't think it has to be like a big separate thing. Like you can totally make it work. It's totally doable.
Yeah. And it's also interesting how some people get like threatened by your idea of shifting or eliminating things, even if it's not affecting them at all. Have you felt any of that like in your journey?
What do you mean? Like people just like not agreeing with how I view
Whether
it?
it's like family or friends, or maybe you're in a scenario where you're choosing to eat something different and you might not even say anything about it or mention it or make a big deal about it, but it's almost like they're threatened by the fact that you're not including those items.
Yeah, actually, when I first went vegan, I had a pretty rough time with my parents because you know, they weren't really accepting of it. And I think they thought it was just like a fad, like some phase I was going through. And so they just like made fun of me a lot and, you know, were asking a lot of questions and like making just like lame jokes. Like they would just like yell bacon. I'm like, what? But I just had to be like, guys, like I don't, you know, that's really offensive to me and I don't appreciate you doing that. Like, so if it's like something that, you know, makes you feel uncomfortable or, you know, angers you or like triggers you in any way, I would say set that boundary and be like, I'm not okay with that. Like, if you want to ask me about it and like my opinions or like why I'm doing it, like cool, we can have a conversation. But if you're just going to come at me, like, try to like rile me up, like I'm not okay with it. So it just really just comes down to like setting boundaries and being clear with people in a loving way.
Yeah, definitely. And you think that's the best way to like combat that in like any scenario that you face that with?
I'd say it depends on the person and the situation. I also try to just make light of it, like like when people ask me like, oh, where do you must not get any protein because
Oh
you're a
my,
vegan. I'll be like, well, where do you
yeah,
think a cow gets their protein? Like,
right.
you know, make them think about it in like a fun, lighthearted way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this whole thing that's been happening out there has been really interesting because there is another real fear revolving around food shortage and meat shortage specifically. And I was telling my husband the other day, well, we don't have any problems because I know how to make like very filling, balanced meals without that. But it's very, very scary for a lot of people because like that's their staples. Um,
Right.
what do you think when people are going to the grocery store and they see like their main staple is gone? What would you tell them to focus on or pick out to try to still make a balanced meal? What kind of ingredients do you think would be best to put together a meal?
I'd say beans. Beans are a great staple. They're really filling. They're really nutrient dense. They have a lot of protein. Um, and I like teach this in my course. I do like the plated method. So it's like 25% of your plate is protein, which could be beans, or like tempeh or tofu or some kind of protein source like that. And then 25% is grains. So like whole grains like rice, which I haven't been able to find any rice. So I've been eating a lot of
Oh,
quinoa
me
and like
either.
millet and like
Like
buckwheat and all these
every other
grains.
trip. I found on Amazon, I found like a 30, it was like a Uncle Ben's like 30 pack. And I was like, this is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's never at the store. It's,
Yeah, it's hard right now.
but you were saying beans and rice, and what kind of vegetables do you think like are the easiest to implement into meals that don't
Um,
that
I'd
don't
say,
take like a lot of preparation?
I'd say broccoli, carrots, bell peppers. Those are like three of my staples and favorites. And frozen vegetables, like they're just so versatile. Like you can throw
Yeah.
them into pasta, you can throw them into stir fries, like, and they last forever and they're picked at their peak freshness so that, they're fresh and good. So frozen veggies are great. And yeah, just adding greens. Like I didn't finish what I was saying. 50% of the plate is like, so 25% protein, 25% grains, and 50% vegetables or fruit. And some of my staple vegetables are broccoli, bell peppers, carrots. I really love bok choy for stir fries. I've been loving kale recently. I feel like the produce section has been kind of unscathed. Like people
Yeah.
aren't really shopping that much on produce.
Full and beautiful always. It's like always
Yeah.
packed, it seems like. Yeah, I can't think of anything that we've seen. I feel like the very first week when this was all just starting to happen, people were like stocking up. But then every single time we did go to the store, everything was pretty much full. And I was hearing that from a lot of other people too. And I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I actually just posted a video in the group. I don't know if you saw it, to like help keep your produce fresh longer. Cause like when I learned those tips, it like changed the game for me. Like I've been able to have celery and carrots in my fridge that would normally go bad in like a week. They've been in there for like 2 to 3 weeks. So, and they're still good.
oh, awesome. Thank you for posting that because
Yeah.
that definitely can help. And I think that's like another deterrent though, is like getting excited about changing and eating healthier. So you stock up on all the fruits and vegetables and maybe you're like, okay, what do I do with this now? Or you just overbought because maybe you didn't meal plan or something like that. So there's always something that you kind of gets left out, or you feel like I'm wasting food when I just focus on vegetables and fruits.
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna read. Oh, I want to hear about you were talking about your program.
The
I'd love
plant-based
to hear about that.
Yeah. So I just launched it a couple weeks ago. It's called the PlantBased Blueprint. Basically, it's just like a
Awesome.
go-to like guide and blueprint to like how to go plant-based vegan and make it really easy and joyful. I like literally am teaching like everything I've learned from my 6 years of living this lifestyle in the course. So like literally I'm going over grocery shopping. I'm going over what it means to be plant-based or vegan and like kind of which one is best for you. um, yeah, my best grocery shopping tips, like literally they'll be like how to pick the best produce and how like so it will last long and it will taste good.
That's
Because I feel like that's a
awesome.
skill that not a lot of people have is like how to find good produce. And there really are like tips and tricks to help you learn that, help it make it last in your fridge longer as well. And I also have there's a module on cooking, so I'm teaching you how to cook with plants, cook tofu and tempeh if you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And the social aspects, because I feel like that is such a huge part of what keeps people away, or you know, keeps people away from living this lifestyle is just like how to answer questions from families and friends, and the social and how to eat at restaurants. I feel like that's a huge thing. I mean, obviously we're not really struggling with that right now, but like eating at home and cooking. So literally it's just going to be a well-rounded
That sounds awesome. And
thing.
is that like ongoing, or do you just do it in sessions? How is that available to people?
Yeah, so it's on my website at drivenbyplants.com. It's just like there's going to be 5 videos. They're each about an hour long, and you'll have a lifetime access to them, so you can always come back and learn more because there's so much information packed in there.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is really exciting. I'm gonna go, let's see. There was a few questions. I think one of them we kind of covered.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what are your favorite brands? Oh, this is funny. What are your favorite brands of non-dairy dairy food? So I'm guessing like yogurt, ice cream, sour cream, maybe.
Okay, yeah.
It's not really specific, so
Yeah, there's so many. I feel like even since I went vegan, like there's been so many new ones come up. So yeah, I think my favorite like plant-based milk is oat milk. I'm really loving Oatly's brand oat milk right now. And like Whole Foods' brand almond milk is like my go-to. um, and let's see, cheese. I really love Chow, CHAO. I love their slices. They have like I think it's just like their original kind. It tastes like provolone cheese. I really love it.
oh wow. I've
Yeah.
never had that before. I'm not really big on the like I'm not really big on cheese, period. But
Yeah.
there's been a couple that I tried like from Aldi. I can't remember what their brand is. They were like
Okay. Yeah.
shredded in a bag. It has like a green label that doesn't everything. But what was
I
the
feel like I know what
thing?
you're talking about.
Huh?
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I can't. It's like Earth something.
Yeah, it is Earth something, and it's like green on the top of it.
Yeah.
And the brand looks like it was handwritten, but they have shreds and they have slices, and it was almost like this isn't like you taste it and you're like, no, like this is this can't be like an alternative. This tastes so authentic, like it almost worries you.
Yeah. That's awesome. They've gotten so much better. It's really
Yeah,
great.
yeah, definitely. And you know, you're seeing a lot more in stores, a lot more options like that. Um,
Yeah.
But what about like everybody wants to know like ice cream? Like, do you have a favorite vegan ice cream brand?
Yeah, so many. My like top favorite is probably Nadamu. I just love all the different flavors they have, and it's like a coconut base, but it's the only coconut ice cream I've had that doesn't taste coconutty at all. Like it's really creamy, it's really good. It like melts in your mouth. Like literally, it tastes like normal ice cream. It's so good. And I love Ben and
I'm
Jerry's.
gonna have to eat chocolate, and now I'm gonna have to eat ice cream.
Yes. I actually made a like chocolate tahini sauce. I don't know if you've ever had
Oh
tahini. It's
wow, yeah.
based. Yeah, I just made it with like cacao powder, tahini, and maple syrup, and it's like it like turned into icing in the fridge, and like that's what I used in my oatmeal this morning. It
Oh my
was
goodness, that sounds amazing. That
yeah,
sounds so good.
it was really
Wow.
good.
What about yogurt? Do you have a favorite yogurt brand?
Kite Hill.
Yeah, Kite Hill is good.
Yeah, and they make really good ricotta and sour cream and cream cheese too.
I've
And then
never,
BioLife is good.
what is it?
BioLife,
Oh,
VIO,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, that is a good one. But Kite Hill yogurt's kind of, you know how some yogurts that are plant-based have kind of a strange, I don't know if it's an aftertaste, but you just like can really tell like that there's something off almost, like they just don't taste that great. But
yeah,
Kite Hill is so mild, like it just tastes like regular, and they have like the most amazing flavors. That is
yeah.
really, really excellent brand.
Yeah, they even have a Greek style yogurt now, which is really good.
Oh, do they? Oh, I
Yeah.
like those. Those are really good for like smoothies too, because it's like
Hmm.
thicker. Yeah, definitely. Let me see. Okay, I got that one. We already covered that. We talked about how long it took. We talked about what to start with. Okay, I think we covered all of those. But is there anything else you wanted to add, or just to someone who's been kind of wondering about plant-based diet, maybe doesn't know anything, but they're kind of curious, what would be a good reason to go plant-based or to try to start implementing less meat, more plant-based meals? What kind of direction would you tell them, and what are the reasons why you think that would benefit people?
That's a good question. I'd say it kind of depends on like your values and what you're really passionate about. Because for me, it was like the animals. That was the first and foremost. I was like, I don't want to contribute to the harm of these animals. Like, I love animals so much. I've always loved dogs, and like, it's no different.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the biggest thing for me. And then when I just learned that, you can really reverse and prevent a lot of diseases that are causing such like turmoil and heartache in our society. Like my grandpa passed away of heart disease, and when I learned that like you can reverse heart disease with a plant-based diet, I was like, oh my God, like I need to tell everyone about this. Like it's so important. Like literally all of the top 15 leading causes of death are caused by lifestyle and just what we choose to put into our bodies. Um, so I think just like having that awareness that it's good for you, not only you, but the animals and also the environment. Like I watched, there's a documentary on Netflix called Cowspiracy, and it talks about how the environmental impacts of animal agriculture are actually worse and more detrimental than our transportation sector, which is like
Yeah,
everything. Trains, cars,
crazy.
yeah. And so it's just like there's so many reasons. So it really just depends on what you value and what you're passionate about. So there's no wrong reason, I always say.
Yeah, yeah. You can help animals and promote a healthy lifestyle. Like what what more could you want? And the
Yeah, it's a
food is
win-win-win.
amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely. So tell people how they can find you. Are your handles and your website again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so my website is drivenbyplants.com. I have a blog on there that I actually post recipes to. And I try to keep all my recipes really simple and easy for people that maybe don't know how to cook or just getting into cooking. Because I know how much that was a struggle for me. So
Yeah.
try to keep it simple and easy. I also have a podcast, which is just the Driven by Plants podcast, on iTunes and Spotify and wherever you listen to podcasts. I also just started a YouTube channel. I'll be posting awesome recipes too. Yeah, I'm really
Awesome.
excited about that. And
Awesome.
I think there was one, oh, and on Instagram. Instagram is like where I hang out. I really don't spend a whole lot of time on Facebook except for like
Well,
in groups.
okay.
Like,
Perfect.
and
Awesome.
it's all Driven by Plants. That's how you can find me everywhere. Driven by Plants.
Awesome. Love that. Are there any tools that you think, you know how there's like go-to products or tools that you think are important to have on hand if you're trying to get into that, like when you're just starting, like bare bones? Like, are there things that you're like, you really need to have this in the kitchen?
I'd honestly say a high-speed blender. Like that was the thing that changed my whole life when it came to cooking food for myself. Like literally I got a Vitamix and I started using it like 2 to 3 times a day just for smoothies. I've been able to like my mac and cheese. That's how I make my mac and cheese. I make the sauce in the blender. Like it just because you just need a powerful blender to be able to make really good quality cheese sauces. And you can also make soups in there. Like it's really good for chopping veggies too. If you're just kind of lazy, you don't want to cut up onions because you don't want to cry like that. That's
Yeah.
so I use my blender for that.
Fun.
It's just so versatile, and it makes everything so much easier having a really good blender. So that's
Definitely. Yeah, that can be a game changer when you're making sauces, or if you start experimenting with like nut-based things. You're like,
yeah.
I can't do this without a powerful blender. It's just not possible.
Yep.
Is there one spice that's your favorite to cook with that you think would be like a good start for people?
Smoked paprika. I add it to everything. It's my favorite. It just adds like this hint of smokiness to everything.
Yeah. Is there a
Really,
particular brand you like?
I shop all my spices at the Whole Foods bulk section,
Oh, perfect.
but when it's actually not open right now, so I've had to buy Simply Organic. That's the brand that I love. I know.
Yeah, bulk sections are the best because you're like, this is all I need. Or you can
And
just
it's so
like,
cheap.
yeah, it's
So
crazy.
cheap.
Yeah, we had a store like that here too, but it couldn't make it in our area. But that was one of my favorites, just going and they have like all the glass jars and I'm like, this is so perfect. And you just get
Yes.
exactly what you need. Or if you don't know what something tastes like, but you're like, I want to try this, you can just take a little bit and try it and not have to buy a whole bottle.
Yeah, totally.
That's like super helpful. But all right, well, unless you can think of anything else, I can't think of anything else.
I think that was it.
So you're so awesome. I feel like we're doing like the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're so awesome. Thank you so much for being here and taking out the time to do this and hanging out in the group and talking about plant-based lifestyle and sharing your resources every day. Everybody, please go follow Kelsey. She is just like a bright ray of light in your day. She's so awesome, so positive and motivating. Like you will really, really get benefit from following her and using her resources.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, of course, of course. All right, well, I will talk to you soon.
Yeah, I love your shirt, by the way. I have to say that.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.